Marks 6 years exactly since Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others lost their lives in a helicopter crash here in Southern California. Derek Fisher and Kobe Bryant started in the NBA together in 1996. They won 5 championships together as teammates. Derek is now an analyst for the NBA on NBC and head coach at Crespi Carmelite High School. Derek joins us live here on set. Welcome to Story Is for the first time.
Thanks, Elex.
Thank you for coming in. And can you believe it's been 6 years?
I cannot. There are days, I know it's real, and then there are days where it feels like there are pieces of him that are still here. So it's always strange when we get to this date each year.
And you've spent more seasons with him than anybody. So let's go back to the rookie year, 1996. You had graduated college. Kobe came in as a 17-year-old, one of the youngest players in NBA history. And you describe him in that period kind of like a robot?
Yeah.
How so?
I couldn't fathom being a high school kid and being in the NBA 6 months later. And so when I say robot, he was programmed. He had already programmed himself to want to be one of the greatest basketball players to ever touch the ball. Mm-hmm. He knew that about himself from day one. And it's not a normal mindset. Most of us, when we start something new, we're trying to learn and figure some things out along the way before we decide we can be the greatest at it. Mm-hmm. He made that decision at a very early point.
And did that rub some teammates the wrong way early on?
At times it rubbed us all the wrong way. Because when you're on a team, right, part of it is, yes, you have great aspirations and goals for yourself, but they have to fit in with the team construct and what the goals and objectives of the group are. And sometimes when a person is so driven individually, those things don't always align. But over time, I think everyone got to a point where they could appreciate that laser focus and commitment to being the greatest is also what elevated many of his teams to being some of the best in the world.
I mean, was he the most ambitious player you ever played with?
Yes, I'll say yes knowingly.
Yeah.
I played with some great players that maybe didn't wear it on their sleeve the way he did.
Yeah.
But he wore it on his sleeve, and he wanted people to know he was that ambitious, that he wanted to be that great. He was comfortable handling the adversity and the struggles that came with wanting to be that great. And it's something that inspired and motivated us on a daily basis.
So you guys win 3 titles, you, Shaq, Kobe, that whole crew. And then in 2004, there was sort of a weird ending to the season with Karl Malone and Gary Payton, and that team breaks up.
Yeah.
And Kobe stays, and kind of everybody else goes away. And that was not easy for him, right?
It was not. I was in Golden State for 2 years and then a third year with the Utah Jazz. And during those 3 years, that was our first time not being on the same NBA team together. So we would talk and text and connect over the phone more than we ever had as teammates.
Really?
Because as teammates, we could always talk in the locker room, on the bus, on the court, at the hotel, on the plane. And so that was replaced by distance, and it forced us to communicate and connect in different ways. And he really struggled with not just the losing, how they were losing, but being on a team that he didn't really feel like everyone was willing to exhaust themselves to be as great as he wanted them to be.
Because now he's the man. Shaq's off the team.
Right.
It's all about him. And then you go back on the team, they acquire Pau Gasol, and you guys win 2 more titles together. Describe sort of the monkey that came off of his back on that first championship without Shaq.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was really driven by wanting to prove, not even necessarily to other people, but to himself, that he could be the leader of a championship caliber team. Mm-hmm. Shaquille O'Neal is a big set of shoulders, and we all got on his back for years. And now Kobe's shoulders had to be the one that could carry us over the top. He relished the opportunity. He wanted it badly, but it took losing to the Celtics in 2008 to also learn how to become a better leader on a championship caliber team.
We were just looking at some pictures from 2008 as well, which was the Olympic team in 2008, which was called the Redeem Team. That was because USA had lost in the Olympics before. Kobe there was teammates with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Dwight Howard and Chris Paul and Carmelo Anthony and Jason Kidd and Anthony Davis and other folks. And he was kind of the big dog at that point. He'd been doing this for a while. And he was a mentor to all these guys. How did that, you think, change the NBA? Because he changed all of them.
I mean, I think, getting a chance to see him on a daily basis is unlike anything you can describe. And all those guys on that Redeem team had played against him for many years. They'd seen him at the All-Star game for many years, but they hadn't really seen him on a daily basis. And I believe that Redeem team experience for many of those superstar players impacted how they viewed their own work ethic, mindset, commitment to winning. He sold out for the gold medal, even so much he was willing to destroy his own Lakers teammate, Pau Gasol, to win the gold medal. And that was something that inspired that group to win the Olympics that year. And he left a lasting legacy on that group of players. They were already great players, but you think about the guys on that team and what they were able to accomplish post-2008 was pretty remarkable as well.
And you think about his impact on the league today still, and not just the league, but how many people are now named Kobe that are professional athletes you see in football and all these other sports as well. So around that time, that's when Kobe was a young father, and you guys were traveling together, and he said something that left an impact on you. You're sitting on a plane, you, Kobe, Phil Jackson's nearby. What did Kobe say to you?
We were just having a conversation about, life and choices and decisions. And, we talked about many things, whether it be NFL football and his love for the Eagles. And at that time, my love for the Cowboys. That's for another day. And we talked about Jay-Z music lyrics. And we also talked a lot about just kids. And he was a girl dad. I was a girl dad. And I asked him a question about how he's viewing, his life, his career, his business. And he started a statement. He stopped and he said, you know what? I'll just say it like this. I had to start thinking that, how is this decision going to impact my daughters 20 years from now? And in a split second, you get it. Like when you hear a father say that, it's easy to understand and relate to, regardless of whether you're in the NBA or not. And it was a pretty profound moment of just kind of sharing and vulnerability and a look into how his heart was on the inside around his girls, his family, and his wife.
How do you think fatherhood changed him?
I mean, anybody that has girls, you're changed forever. I know, no matter how tough you are or where you're from, your daughters change you forever. And I think for Kobe, he learned, the male ego is a very, very crazy thing.
Yes, indeed. Especially his.
It is a crazy thing.
Yeah.
And a daughter helps you learn how to love unconditionally in ways that other things just don't quite teach you. And I thought it helped him come outside of his own experience and start to think about how his decisions impact other people. It's not just about me, but how does every decision I make impact other people around me? And I think his daughters really helped bring that message home for him. It made him a better person, a better father, a better husband, a better teammate, and he was able to lead his teams to victory.
What is the Mamba mentality, and what do you think is the leadership lessons that we all can learn from Kobe's life, regardless of if we're playing basketball?
Yeah, the Mamba mentality to me is not this. It deserves to be as big as it is, but it's very basic. It's all possible if you truly want it and you're willing to do the work for it. That's all it is. We can dress it up, and Vanessa released a book recently. It deserves the look that it gets, but it's very simple. Kobe was a human being, just like the rest of us, and he decided through his mindset that he was going to outwork, out-train, be more disciplined, be more committed to his craft than others. He was going to master his job in a way that other people weren't willing to do as well. And that mentality, he coined it, but it's not owned by him. And I think that's what's so remarkable about it, is that we're all capable of having it. It's just a choice of whether or not we're willing to put the work in.
And lastly, real quickly, at the end, towards the end, did you think that he was the happiest you'd ever seen him being a father? And he seemed like he was in a different place, right?
Yeah, I never saw him coaching his girls in basketball. He was more patient than most people thought, but I didn't foresee coaching his girls in club team basketball. And so when I saw the joy in how he was doing it and how serious he was taking it and the way he was balancing his professional aspirations, he wanted to be just as great in other things outside of basketball also. Another thing profound that he said was, if he's only remembered as one of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game, he didn't live his life fully. And so what he was doing after basketball, to me, it looked like it was more gratifying and satisfying to him and fulfilling than even some of the great moments he had on the court.
Derek, thank you so much for sharing these memories. It's really inspiring to hear from you. And as a lifelong Laker fan, thank you for all the joy that you've brought to so many of us as well.
I appreciate it.
Really, really means a lot.
Thank you for having me, Alex.
And we're thinking of Kobe and his family and sending them love tonight as well. And you can check Derek out on the NBA and NBC. You're doing a great job there as well. We'll be right back with more right after this.